Hi, good morning. This is Misti Burmeister. So often we see the end result of remarkable people and remarkable outcomes that we just think to ourselves, there's no way we can be there. I remember I felt that way actually when I watched Lynn Rose sing this several amazing songs to open up the National Speakers Association's national conference. And I thought, she just has something that I could never have. And in fact, that's often how I feel when I go to the National Speakers Association. These speakers are so unbelievably good that I can't imagine that they ever deal with any sort of struggle. I see the outcome, I see the result, and I think they must just have the right upbringing, they must have the right parents, they must have all the things I don't have, they have to have it, because otherwise, they wouldn't be where they are. I remember when I watched Damian Mason, do his speech on reinvention and how this is a guy who's been acting out President Clinton for a long, long time and then super successful. And then he just had a lull in his career and he almost gave up on the speaking industry. That idea flabbergasted me because when he spoke on the main stage at the National Speakers Association, you guys, I don't even know about politics, but he naturally weaved in his philosophy into a remarkable presentation on where he was acting out like he was Bill Clinton. It was funny, it was engaging, it was clearly understandable, simple, so powerful. And so when he talked about reinvention and how he almost walked away from this industry, I almost couldn't believe it. But all of a sudden I found hope because I walked away from this and I literally sat in my apartment for 3 years. And I remember walking around to people and asking them, can you please just tell me what makes me so great? Because I could not see anymore what my skills were or what I was good at or what makes me so great. I just couldn't. I really struggled. I had done generational training for so long and I was ready for something different. I didn't know what it was and I didn't know how to communicate it. And so I just struggled. And now as I'm re-entering the speaking industry, of course, I'm dealing with all the fears that come along with it. As I've continued to go and progress as it comes to my Swim Across America big 5-mile swim when I just learned how to swim a year ago. I literally didn't know how to swim 1 year ago. And here I am now preparing to do a 5-mile open water swim. A year ago, I was afraid to ask for money. And now here I am, I just raised $5,000. So the last thing I want to do is have anybody think that I have anything that you don't have. The only thing that I have that's really pulling me is my passion. It's my passion for sharing. That's why I'm doing these videos, to share every lesson I learn as I go. That's a part of my commitment to God. You give me the lesson, I'll share it. It's my commitment to challenging myself. At the end of the day, everything that I'm doing as it pertains as it pertains to everything, is it challenging me to grow, to learn, to stretch, to get outside my comfort zone? That's probably my most important everyday sort of goal. And so is it doing that for me? Yes, Swim Across America is absolutely doing it for me. In fact, I remember this last weekend when I was doing a 2-hour continuous swim. Well, actually it was 4 30-minute chunks with a 3-minute in between each. It was exhausting. And on that last 30 minutes, I hit more waves coming in my face. I drank more water. My swim stroke was terrible. I struggled. My shoulders were hurting. I was really, really struggling. And I just kept saying, you're almost there. You got this. Oh, you're almost there. So I just started talking to myself. And I would encourage you to do the same. Start talking to yourself. Start saying, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm going to make this. Just the next step, just the next step, just the next stroke. You're almost there. And you just keep doing that. But the thing is that you have to have a there. And the there has to be something that you really honestly and authentically care about. See, I care a great deal about the Swim Across America for a couple of reasons. Number one, I got involved in it because my hip hurt so much that I was either going to have surgery or significantly reduce my exercise. Now, the truth is I love to eat, so the reducing of exercise wasn't going to happen. And I honestly just do not, like most of us, I'm not terribly fond of surgery or needles, just not my gig. And so I thought, well, I'll give this a try, even though I was afraid of it. In fact, when I first started swimming, many of my friends know this, I would literally be in the middle of a swim and I would see myself at the bottom of the pool, face up, like not alive. It was so scary for me. Fortunately, that doesn't happen very often anymore, but it was scary for me. And I just kept saying, even then, just this stroke, just get through this 25 meters, just this one. Because I'm not at the bottom of this pool. I'm swimming. And if I need something, I would just, there's lifeguards. I would just talk to myself about it. So at the end of the day, the biggest reason for me is that my hip was hurting and I wanted to help myself. And I think if all of us get really clear about how our goals are going to help us improve, then giving to other people is easy and simple. So for example, now here I am raising $5,000 for Swim Across America. I've already actually raised the $5,000. That gives to that organization. Now I've got 3 great sponsors. I have Social Leagues right here in Baltimore. They're my biggest sponsor, $1,500 sponsor. Now I've also got Studio 921 and Evolution Sports. All of them gave so much because they wanted to be a part of the thing that I cared about. So I care about it because my hip hurts, and now they care about it because they want to see me achieve my goals. And now all the entire community is impacted. But remember, when I first started, I didn't know how to swim and I was afraid to ask for money. And I saw myself at the bottom of the pool. So there's nothing that I have that you don't have. You have everything. If there's one thing that I might have that some of you don't have, it's clarity on what matters to me. And so if you don't have that clarity, I want to give you something. Expose yourself. I have this ERA model that I use when I'm speaking often. It's ERA, ERA, right? When you do this, you create a whole new era in your life for greatness to emerge. So here's the E. Expose yourself, because the more exposure you have to new people, new places, like locations, go on a vacation somewhere that you've never been, even, go across country. Just expose yourself to new places, new people. Go to conferences that you would never go to, that just maybe don't make any sense, because you'll end up finding yourself interested in what somebody else is doing that they're passionate about. The more opportunities you have to expose yourself to people who are passionate, you'll find that you gravitate towards something that maybe that they're also passionate about. Over time, you'll find what your passion is inside of theirs. But that energy just feeds us. Here's the second part of the ERA model. So we have exposure, and now we have reflection. Jim Rohn would always say, an amazing speaker, businessman. He's since passed, but he lives within me forever and always. He says, do not just get through the day. Get from the day. So I want to say to you guys, sit down and reflect on the day. I don't care if you're in a high-level executive position or if you're just starting out in the organization or just starting out in your career. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this day? What did I learn about myself? And what did I learn about, in terms of my position, about the skill sets that I'm learning? I just learned not that long ago that charcoal and coal, aren't the same thing. I learned the difference. My nephew taught that to me. It was something I wrote that I learned about. I'm learning a great deal about history right now, and I could go on and on about that. But I'm also always learning about myself. Like when I get uncomfortable, I have a loud laugh. It's a cue to me to know that if I'm laughing loudly, I already have a loud laugh, so louder than that, then I know that I'm uncomfortable. And then I get to go, I wonder what this discomfort is about, because of the self-reflection, right? So nobody else can teach you about yourself. Only you can. It's a beautiful thing and a challenging thing. So we have exposure, reflection, and then the final piece is action. We say often that we want to do something, and then the universe, God, an opportunity gets put right in front of us, and we just say, oh, I can't do that. We say no to it because it's not perfect enough. It's not good enough. I don't know how I'm going to do in that. I don't have all the right skills. We give ourselves all these reasons why we can't take on this opportunity. And to that I say to you, take it on and do it and figure it out as you go. I had no idea how I'm going to promote sponsors. I've never done that before. But somehow I'm figuring out how to do videos on the fly, where I naturally just threw in there about the 3 sponsors that sponsored my swim. Look, guys, this is an amazing opportunity for you to slowly chunk it down and go after the thing that's really meaningful to you. If you haven't figured it out, expose yourself, then reflect, then take action. If you've already figured out what it is that you really care about, then I deeply encourage you to start taking the steps. There is no one big step that you're supposed to take. It's a bunch of little ones. You know, Zig Ziglar used to say, it's the hurricanes and the tornadoes that get all the publicity. But did you know it's the termites that do the most damage? They take these little itty bitty bites, but they take so many of them that over time they destroy buildings and displace people. It is remarkable what we can do, taking just one step at a time. He also said, Zig Ziglar also said, you know, I wrote my entire book, 200 and some pages long, by writing just 10 3/4 pages a day. Now, obviously, there's a lot of editing involved in that and those sorts of things, but if you chunk it down, when you know what it is that you're striving to achieve, and then you chunk it down and stay clear about the greater vision that you're striving to achieve, and then come back to just this stroke, just this step, just this page. It's all I got to work on. You know, and then you can overcome those the self-doubt, the fears that ultimately are there for every single one of us to get in our way, that stop us from taking action. You can address them one at a time as they come by continually staying focused on the very next thing that's in front of you right now. Here's to your greatness. I am so honored that you watched all the way to the end of this video, and for that, I want to throw in an e-copy of Provoking Greatness for you. So if you listened all the way to the end of this video, shoot me an email at mb@measurablegreatness.com, or just go to Facebook and send me a message, whatever's easiest for you, and say, I watched the end of your video. I'd love to receive my complimentary e-copy of Provoking Greatness. I'd be delighted to send it to you. And please, if you got something out of this, share it. Here's to your greatness.